Just sort of getting started here. I was reminded this week, it's been 6 years since I lost a really good friend, a great teammate by the name of Freddie Solomon. Many of you may not really remember him or have heard of him, perhaps. I would hope football fans remember him. He was on the first two Super Bowl teams that I was on in 81 and 84 seasons. University of Tampa, great guy that they don't have a program anymore, but guys like he and John Matuzak really put that program on the map. Freddie was an unbelievable option quarterback, and as good as he was a football player, he was an even better person. And 6 years ago, we lost him to cancer, and I just want to sort of remind myself of his favorite saying. He always used to say to people, say to kids, the last kind of thing he left them with was be better. And when I think of Freddie Solomon, I think of always being better. Miss you, Freddie. Wish you were still with us. All right, next thing up, a news story that really caught my eye this last week. A lot of things about traumatic brain injury. You've heard things here on the podcast about concussions and how the NFL is dealing or not dealing with it, how college football is dealing or not dealing with it. Chris Nowinski, who we talked to a couple weeks ago, mentioning the whole, no contact football until 14 years old, that players should play flag football, which I wholeheartedly agree with. Well, this story that came out, pretty incredible. There's a company out there by the name of Banyan Biomarkers that have come up with a blood test that will tell people, or medical people involved, doctors, that there's been a traumatic brain injury. Now, is it the ideal timeline as to from testing to result? No, you'd like it almost instantaneous, because as of right now, it's about 20 minutes. But check out this video. It's going to tell you all you need to know, and this is a fantastic breakthrough in studying of traumatic brain injury and concussions.
Known as the Banyan Brain Trauma Indicator, the test looks for two proteins that are released into the bloodstream by the brain following a blow to the head that causes visible lesions to form. In its largest trial, the test was compared to CT scans, long considered the gold standard in concussion detection, and successfully predicted someone having tissue damage 97.5% of the time. According to a report by Gizmodo, it is estimated that the test could reduce the need for further CT scans in up to a third of suspected concussion patients.
Just want to emphasize something really, really important. That's obviously a brain, and they're depicting an injury. There is no finish line in this, because we won't get to a point, at least in our lifetime, where there's any kind of a definitive cure for this ever happening. But any way you can make this game safer, any way you can make the decision-making process for parents and kids and participants easier, you're improving the game. You're making the game better. And bringing this to people's attention doesn't mean someone doesn't like the game or has a grudge for the game. I'll emphasize again, this makes the game better and maybe even makes it a little bit safer.